Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 3 versus 3 on Mont Ormel, and in this one I'm going to be playing with the 3rd Canadian Infantry. So I've just popped it to my point of view, and I'll quickly talk about what our team was planning. On the left side we were going to have Cap Cavern with the 101st Airborne. In the mid we have Black Phoenix with another 3rd Canadian Infantry, and on the right side I am the same with my 3rd Canadian. We're playing against the 12th SS Panzer, 17th SS Panzer Grenadier, and another 12th SS Panzer in this one. So here we are with Mont Ormel once again. I really am not a fan of this map just because of the line of sight issues that I think a lot of people don't really get on very well with when it comes to this map. But the other thing is I don't think that a lot of people really understand how to play it very well, and that can really cause issues as well. So in this one, either way, I was quite confident with Black Phoenix on my left flank. He did put a ping down here early on, which allowed me to identify exactly where I needed to put my troops, because I think one problem that a lot of people have is like the communication of where they're sort of playing up to on the map. And it's quite funny how in Steel Division there is this mindset that you play on your side of the map and that's it. In this game I kind of wanted to try and do that with the 3rd Canadian because I knew that I could push quite hard on this right side and definitely take control of this forest here, which would push me over the 50-50 on my side. So if we remember like the 50-50s here, I can make a lot of ground by just getting into this little area, getting into here, and it's quite a deceiving way to take land away from the opponent. So I've just sped it up to get past the quite long deployment that we had, but we'll have a look at some of the units that are going down. So quite a few AT guns I have here. I've got some stormtroopers, I have the command infantry of course, I've got my wasp in there, I've also got one of the flamethrower squads. So going with the old stormtrooper flamethrower command combo, which gives you a lot of smoke to use, although I probably shouldn't use or need it in this sort of engagement here because it's such dense forest. So just going to play around that forest and use that as cover to allow my stormtroopers to get within the 100-meter range that they need. For the left side I'm going to be using a machine gun alongside another infantry squad there, some flamethrowers, and the command carrier. So yeah, flamethrower was just going to sit in this building. The reason I chose this building instead of the ones on the outside is because you can see that the other buildings are both 100-meter range from this building, and what that means is if they come up here with a rush and like unload some Panzer Grenadiers and jump them into here, they're going to meet a face full of napalm quite easily. And one thing that's quite easy to do on our side, and I was hoping that Black Phoenix was aware of this, it's very easy for the opponent to push in a sort of salient here on this side of the map. You can lose control of this very easily, especially if you let them get into this tree line. So I was hoping that he sort of pushed for this tree line early on and gain control of that. But here's the attack plan that Black Phoenix definitely sort of wanted to commit to. He put the defense beacon here where he was basically going halfway from, and then wanted to help on his push up into the trees. But I assumed that Cap Cavern on this left side would help him with that because he has the 101st, and that's much more suited to pushing through these forest areas here. Of course, with the stormtrooper flamethrower combo, the 3rd Canadian are very good at that as well, but in general the 101st will generally do it better because of their stronger infantry squads overall. On this right side I do have a wasp that is going to sit just to the right side of these buildings. The idea was to have it the 240-meter range away from this tree line here, so that if any infantry came through to try and attack these buildings, they would just get flamed out, and in general they would always be out of range of my Wasp. So at the start we can see the Salient pushing in a little bit here as our Axis opponents are being very aggressive, but I'm also going to be doing the same on my side of things to try and level it out. 50-50 currently on the map, with the Axis getting 26 points there at the start. So flamethrowers have arrived, the stormtroopers are getting into position, I've got my AT guns arriving, and further to that, my MG, which is going to be sitting in this building to be able to fire across the open. So with the 500 meter range, it's actually just enough to fire all the way to this sort of tree line, directly anyway, which allows it to cover this hedgerow as infantry come down here. So Pack 38 gets a kill across, I believe, onto one of Black Phoenix's units early on, which is not really a surprise. Generally a pack goes into here and people get their stuff shot at. 2-inch carrier also taking fire from the Pack 38, and that's going to have its tracks broken and probably be taken out. So 2-inch carrier going to be losing its capability there, and also the spear troop spotting the snipers, going to allow that tree line to be taken over. So holding it pretty much 50-50 on the far right side. We're trying to make a little bit of ground here. These flamethrowers actually putting down quite a lot of hurt onto the Panzer Grenadiers. And with those guys being spotted, well, it's time to run the stormtroopers towards them and clean out that forest and their attempt to attack us. The 6-pounder was taking some damage there. Currently my rifle leader and the command carrier dealing with these Panzer Grenadiers. You can see the command carrier already done quite a lot of damage. The stormtroopers are going to unleash their grenade and take those guys out, force those Panzer Grenadiers to surrender. On this side, Panzer Grenadier coming across my rifle leader. I didn't want them to chase the rifle leader down, so I just kind of left the rifle leader here and allowed the stormtroopers to just clean up the Panzer Grenadier so I could just make the Panzer Grenadiers surrender. On the right side, we're going to manage to take out the Boiter Firefly here at the start of the game. That was a very nice kill for me. 6-pounder at that close range with no veterancy, managed to make that work. Really, really happy with my AT gun, and you can see as I wipe out those Panzer Grenadiers, I do open up a nice salient, which gives us the +1. So quite happy with where I stand at the moment. But generally with the Canadians, quite hard to be aggressive across the open early on unless I use a ram. And at the moment, just trying to solidify my position on the right side in order to play more defensively throughout the game. And then maybe look for like opportunities to help elsewhere. But currently, as you can see, Cap Cavern has helped push up with Black Phoenix and taken the top side of this tree line, which is giving us 52%. So things looking quite nice at the moment. 259 is engaging my Vickers HMG, but that's getting some decent shots onto the enemy infantry there. I'm bringing up some rifles to fill up the last building. Command carrier here, along with the Piet squad, going to be hitting the 251. Piet squad does a good job of taking out that half track. I'm just going to bring these rifles close enough so they can use their grenades. And those grenades eventually going to be enough to take out the 251. And that's one thing that I don't think a lot of people realise you can do with the infantry squads. But yeah, rifles there, using those grenades, managed to take out the open top vehicle. And any open top vehicle really, I think, can be destroyed by those infantry grenades. So that's something to be aware of. Boiter Cromwell anyway comes up, takes out the 6-pounder there. And honestly, realising that I killed the Boiter Firefly, I probably could have played a lot more aggressively, but I really do need to take out this Boiter Cromwell, otherwise there's no way that I'm going to be able to push. Meanwhile though, on this left side, Gallineal is actually pushing up to this position, so command carrier is going to take care of both a Pack 38 and the Panzer Grenadiers as they come up. On the right side, we're being engaged by more Panzer Grenadiers. So they're going to push back the 6-pounder. I'm trying to get my stormtroopers into position to intercept, also bringing over the one from the left side. So under pressure from two players really. I've got Gallineal pushing me here, and then I've got, I think it was like Undead Phobos on the far right side, obviously probing into this area, but I didn't really have enough substance to push back, even though I had killed quite a lot few of his units. You can see like the stormtroopers demolishing Panzer Grenadiers throughout this game. Now the Piet squad has unfortunately gone down here, which was unfortunate. Got taken out, I think, by this mortar, and that left us vulnerable to the 259 and the 251 coming up and taking out these rifle squads. So that was a little bit of an issue, because as you can see there is no AT gun to stop anything from coming up here. So currently half-track's working very effectively against both myself and Black Phoenix. Like, these 6-pounders, because they have no veterancy, are just terrible anyway, and the fact you have quite low availability doesn't help either. Also there, Black Phoenix losing his AT gun before he unloads it didn't help very much, so there you go. I made that mistake 100 times, so I'm not really one to judge in that respect. But as we can see here, 259 coming up. Rifles, I mean, if they could get into the 50-meter range, could possibly try for grenades onto the 259, but just in general, I don't really want them to be firing at this point. Probably should have put them on return fire, honestly, so that they can continue their presence there and be perfectly okay. But now what's happening is I'm being mortared from both sides, so mortars from Undead Phobos, and also mortars coming in from Gal O'Neill. This is really affecting my infantry at the moment. I'm trying to dodge about my stormtroopers to stop that doing too much damage. I've also got the 6-pounder there. Now on this right side you can see my wasp being placed in one of these bushes is in the perfect position to hit this tree line from range, so whenever any infantry comes in there they get hit very hard. 251 comes in to take out my stormtroopers, but the stormtroopers are going to be trying to use their satchel. Actually miss out on that. Boy to Cromwell is going to be brought down to do the damage there. I do have a 6-pounder wheeling up. This 6-pounder was spotted by enemy recon, I was assuming. But I have a Ram 2 here, and that's going to also be used to try and intercept the Boys Cromwell and the 251. So just going to try and fast move that to the right side. Overall though, holding this half of the map quite nicely. And this is literally half of the map. I mean, right here. But yeah, anyway, Black Phoenix isn't really having much of a great time. Gal O'Neill has just broken through Black Phoenix's rifles. He took out the AT gun here. The other AT gun was of course lost to the Pack 38. And now this Ram 2 is having issue with this AT gun. Currently has its side armor facing. And well, that was just waiting to be killed. The infantry in this forest here has also been wrecked by some stormtroopers by from 4 and his 17th SS. So I mean, even the 101st player not doing very well in that forest push, but look at this salient form now. The Germans really did a number on Black Phoenix, unfortunately, and Black Phoenix, I mean, props to him, he didn't quit, he didn't rage quit, and he is going to be fighting on, although all he has in the way of Gal O'Neill at the moment is a Piet squad and a Vickers HMG. Not entirely sure the benefit of bringing in a Bedford supply this early, but here I am, desperate to defend. And I'm just going to be quickly moving up this flamethrower squad just to see if I can take out these Panzergrenadiers before they move in. So going to go for a quick little hit there, do 4 damage to the Panzergrenadiers, nicely done. Quickly skip back in, go for another few hits, and that's going to take that Panzergrenadier down health quite nicely. So since that's done, just going to move them back into the other building and leave them be. My command carrier is taking quite a lot of punishment there. I have brought up a 6-pounders to deal with half tracks. Should probably have been moving that over to the right side. But either way, flamethrower is going to use some smoke to make sure they safely get back into that building. But in general, pretty safe across the board. As long as like Undead Phobos doesn't like push really hard into me, I'm quite happy with just controlling the top side of this forest here, because this is like over 50-50 by quite a way on the right. We just need to start to control the pushes coming in from Gal O'Neill and 4 on the left side. So I'm going to bring out some of my rifles just to stop this being pushed in so far. here we go, bringing up some recon. That's just to allow me to see any infantry that have come up into the tree line here. 6-pounder does get a shot onto one of the half tracks, which is nice. I'm going to try and get these sniper scouts to play around the fact they're behind the tree line. So as you can see, I'm going to try and use them to take out the Panzer Grenadiers. They're also going to try and use them to take out the spear troop. Managed to, just about, but yeah, just going to get them back behind the trees and keep them hidden. So I got rid of their recon, which is good because it allows my 6-pounder to sneak up and do some damage. So the sniper scouts now going for the shots onto the Pak 38 there. Currently on this right side, waiting for some troops to come towards me. My scouts are here and sort of identifying what Dead Phobos is doing. I've also got some sniper scouts moving forwards to find some enemies as well. So yeah, in terms of my side of things, doing quite well. Probably could have got like a unit to rush up down here and maybe capture some ground. But considering I'm focusing on this right side as well as the attack coming in from Gallo-Neal, I didn't really take advantage of this when I probably should have been. A 25-pounder has come in to join me, and that's really there to try and hit the AT gun that was placed in this tree line, as well as of course the infantry there. I can also now use that to counter enemy artillery, and so far, because I've managed to push so much on this right side, it's currently still 50-50, so we've managed to stop the bleed for now. Mont Ormel gets taken out by my Ram 2, or the 6-pounder maybe. Can't remember exactly what got that kill. But yeah, just more tanks being engaged here. 222 and the 251 showing themselves. 222 gets forced to fall back after the half track next to it gets killed. So starting to try and take control of the higher ground on my right side. Unfortunately, things aren't going well for Black Phoenix here. And we've got the ME-109 G6R6 coming in, killing off the 6-pounder. So I'm going to be bringing in a Ram 2. And hopefully this can deal with the half tracks of the push-up, as well as the 259s and the 258. So this is like the perfect opportunity for the Ram 2 to shine. Also, the benefit of this is actually that I can provide command for Black Phoenix's Wolverine. So if he brings it with my Ram 2, he can definitely do a decent amount of damage. Now the mortar has come in here and helped take out my rifle leader. So struggling a little bit there. And on the right side, 259 comes up, takes out both these command carriers, which was a bit of a bummer because my Ram 2 is just there and it's kind of waiting to help out, I guess. But I let him get the jump on me, and losing those command carriers is kind of difficult to deal with because, I mean, I should have been able to defend them and then use the command carriers to shoot enemy infantry. By the way, Focke-Wulf 190 coming in, showing itself. Doesn't actually drop its bomb straight away. I believe it had a target that then it couldn't see. But these sniper scouts, they're just moving up, having a look what's going on. At this point, I should have definitely had a fast moving vehicle come in and try and get as far up into the enemy lands as possible to gain us a +1 again, because at this point, especially with the mid left side collapsing, we should be trying to make ground elsewhere to sort of compensate. So I managed to take out the 258. I've taken out a couple of these half tracks, starting to consolidate in the mid with the Ram 2, but on the right side my Ram 2 is taken out, I believe, by this Panther D, or it might be even the Pak 38, sorry, that have come up to assist. So like I said, on this right side, Undead Phobos was like focused so hard on this right side, I could have easily got a unit down here and through this gap and really taken a lot of ground. But I just completely missed this opportunity. And I say this to other people all the time, like, why not, you know, take advantage of a salient? But I think I ended up confusing myself by having this sniper scout unit here and assumed that this was affecting the front line when it actually wasn't. Like, if that was an infantry unit there and it was actually affecting the front line, that would have told me there's probably units here and here. But because there isn't, and that's a recon squad, I should have just realised and just pushed through. So really big mistake on my part, not making the most out of that ground. But it was unfortunate that my attention was drawn elsewhere by the centre mid collapsing. But Either way, Mosquito's coming in here with the Typhoon after my own Mosquito came in to try and take out Whitman. I actually have the Ram 2 engaging Whitman, and I've also got the 6-pounder from the right side coming over to attack him as well. Currently Whitman is like falling back in a really odd direction, so trying to take full advantage of that. You can see the 6-pounder and the Ram 2 shooting it from both sides now, so Whitman basically has no chance of his morale recovering at this point. Got a decent chance to actually penetrate this in the side armor, but it's going to be the 6-pounder, I believe, that picks up the kill. The Whitman goes down. Really take the punch here out of Gallinil. So now I've brought up some Vickers HMG. That's just going to take the place of the command squad I had there in order to assist in suppressing Panzergrenadier squads. And we're still sitting at this 50-50. So in this replay, this salient here is going to annoy me for a lot of the game. I believe after the game, when I watched back the replay, I was really annoyed with myself that I couldn't make it a bigger difference in this one, because I definitely could have by breaking through there. But with my resources split all over the place, unfortunately it didn't happen. But here the 6-pounder, that's going to go for the shot onto the 251. Unfortunately, when it reveals itself, the Panzergrenadier squad cleans it up before it can get the second hit, which was really unfortunate, because HMG is going to open up onto the Panzergrenadiers, take direct fire into the face from the half-track. So I'm struggling now. I really am. Ram 2 currently being mortared, and I'm bringing up some infantry to try and assist here again. Ideally what I need is like a third Ram 2 to start cleaning up some of these half tracks and take the heat off a little. The 25-pounder going to be continuously used. I'm going to be using this one specifically to hit, I believe it was like an AT gun here. Yep, that was firing at my Ram 2, the Pak 38. Currently reversing away from that there as well. Plenty of infantry coming in from Black Phoenix here. That should definitely help us take back more ground. It's also got Tripolston helping at close range against those Panzer Grenadiers. Enemy mortar going to be coming in onto the 25-pounder here. It's a little bit of an issue, so definitely going to be falling back straight away. Rifles are doing a decent job against Panzergrens, but what I will need to do is get the rifle leader into range to stop them surrendering. So trying to go for that, as well as bring up the stormtroopers and try and get them into range of the Panzergrens. My sniper scouts do go down on this right side, and the rifles just surrender before my rifle leader gets there. I also lost the 6-pounder to the Panzergrenadiers, so Undead Phobos now pushing once again, and that's really gonna distract me from trying to recover this left side. So Pak 38 was taken out by my Sexton. I brought up this 2-star Sexton now to help me out. A flamethrower finally goes down in this building after the 251 and the 251 one comes up and starts to attack him directly. And this is causing a little bit of a salient in the middle. So I'm going to be bringing in my Mosquito to try and bomb out that half track there. Sexton comes and takes out another Pak 38, which was nice. ME-109 comes up. I've actually invested in some anti-air already. You can see I've got 3 Tripolstons on the map, mainly to stop the Focke-Wulf 190s from dropping their bombs accurately. Here we have the Ram 2. That's going for the hit onto the Panzer IV-J. Going to be managing to pick up that kill quite nicely. So just holding the line there with the Ram 2 as best as I can.
Ready for battle.
Rifles also doing the same job. And we're maintaining the 50-50, but still, this is just annoying for me. Really annoying. There is nothing here. I know there's nothing there because I have sniper scouts. Why I didn't push this, I do not know. Still, under pressure from the right side. I see a Panther D coming up. Obviously, Undead Phobos put a little bit of a push in. I've, of course, been broken through on the mid here now. So just got to try and recover this. I'm just starting to hit them with the sextons. One of my 6-pounders I think went down on the right side. So I'm pretty light on AT across the board now as well. And that's something that's allowed me to be overrun by these half-tracks. So I still need infantry. So I'm going to go for the combination of the kangaroos and rifles. And the reason I'm going to do this is because these 50 cals are actually decent enough to penetrate through enemy half-tracks. My wasp on the right side finally goes down as the 259 comes up, but I brought in another wasp to this top side to allow me to kill any infantry that comes into these trees, as you have just seen. Now Panzer IV-H comes in, Befehl Panzer IV-H with the 2-star veterancy. That unfortunately manages to finish off the ram, so my ram no longer helping on that side of things, but we do have the assault pioneers and the rifles still holding the front line forwards. Got some off-map coming in from Capcavern, but from what I saw throughout the game, Capcavern was not having a very good time on that left side. Now any infantry that comes into these trees is going to get demolished, thankfully, due to the stormtroopers, and what I'm going to do here is just smoke off this half-track so I can engage these Panzer Grenadiers at my ideal range without being suppressed by enemy MG fire. So that's what I did there. Kangaroos are arriving to help pin down enemy Panzer Grenadiers and the 251s. And I'm still managing to hold this right side with a relatively small skeleton force. I've got a dingo now in the vicinity since my command infantry were destroyed over there. The Kangaroos trying to do their best. We're coming under a lot of pressure here from the Befehl Panzer H and the Panzer IV-Js. The rifles, ideally I should have had these guys on return fire, because as you can see, as soon as they reveal themselves, they're going to take a lot of damage and be pinned down. My sexton is firing at this Wirbelwind and the Panzer IV. So is Black Phoenix's sexton, so that's going to help this 6-pounder take care of those units. Panzer Grenadiers should be pretty simple to take care of, so you can see here the Kangaroos with the rifles have done the job. Got another sexton for this right side now as well, so that's going to be continuously helping me throughout the game. These 2-star sextons, any person who plays the 3rd Canadian Infantry and doesn't bring in these 2-star sextons is playing 3rd Canadian wrong, because they are just so damn awesome. So Typhoon Mosquitoes coming in to bomb out the tanks and force them to fall back. 50 cals from the Kangaroos are just going absolutely crazy onto the Panzergrenadier, and this Kangaroo, for example, is even doing quite a lot of morale damage to the 251-17, which is the 20mm flak gun, making those Panzergren surrender there. Going to get rid of those, and that gives us back this compound, starting to make back a little bit of ground that I lost on the left mid. Now we have bombers coming into the right side, Focke-Wulf 190 coming in to do the job, but I'm not going to let that stand as both of my Mosquitoes arrive and shoot down the Focke-Wulf 190. A little bit worried about this fighter coming in, so going to get the Mosquito out of there that was damaged, and then I'm just going to let the other one come round and drop its bombs where I need them. So just was looking for a decent target. Probably should have dropped it on these fresh units of Panzer Grenadiers, but just going for the bombing strike on the right side instead. Unfortunately, AA going to be coming in there and doing quite a lot of morale damage. We do see down here Panzergrens with the assistance of a 3-star Panzer IV-H. They managed to wipe a couple of my units there quite easily. That Mosquito just going to be trying to bomb out the Panzergren, but the bombs got spread very wide because it was already panicked. Some more infantry squads are already on the way. These are stormtroopers. I've got another Wasp here. That's going to be trying to take out the 259.
What are your orders?
And in order to stop the 259 killing my wasp, what I'm going to do is just smoke it off with the stormtroopers that are still alive there. So that gives me a chance, if the 259 comes through the smoke, I might be able to kill it with the stormtroopers at close range with their grenades. But with the reinforcements arriving of these Panzer Grenadiers, my rifles get pushed back out and this compound goes back into enemy hands. Galil doing a really good job of pushing onto myself and Black Phoenix here. Now on the top of this hill, 17 pounders can find a lot of targets, so that's why I have it here. My one further up is currently being constantly attacked by enemy artillery, however. Kangaroo still around and doing the job as it starts to engage the 223. 25 pounder still alive here, and I was able to use that for the rest of the game. But I've now got a Firefly on the way, along with plenty more infantry squads, and you can see that I'm finally going to be putting one of them all the way through the gap here. Or at least I ordered them to from their spawn. But we've been sitting at a +1 for the enemies for quite a little while now, and you can see they are racking up a lot of score, which is not ideal since there's only 12 minutes left on the clock. Mosquito is going to manage to get out of there after two-star ME-109s come in, and also the Focke-Wulf 190. Fortunately, I do have these Tripolstons here to help out Black Phoenix's mosquitoes, and that is going to allow this Typhoon to survive as well. It was just as well that I brought in these Tripolstons, otherwise Black Phoenix would have lost even more during this game. Another Focke-Wulf 190 coming in with the bomb for the right side. I think it was given a fire position order, so it just ended up flying over as it probably lost line of sight of its target. Stormtroopers still very much alive here with the rifle leader, which was quite something. Panzer Grenadiers at close range, taken out by the Stormtroopers. I kind of baited that engagement with the smoke, which was nice. I think the Panzer Grenadiers had like an attack move, so I kind of recognised that and just put the smoke in the way, which meant they ran into the 100-meter range, which favoured me. Bomb coming in there, finally onto the Stormtroopers and Rifles. Stormtroopers going to die, Rifles down to 2 men. I have brought in the 17 pounder just in case any tanks try and push through this right side. But at this point, just, you know, trying to lightly defend this as much as possible with these wasps, with some rifle squads, not try and focus it too much. What I really want to do is push back against Galil and stop his momentum. But as you can see, this Bedford truck just arriving now to take advantage of the salient, but it's been blocked off by a Panzer IV-H. So yeah, missed the opportunity early on and kind of paid for it, because if we had been at a +1 for longer in this game, our opponents gaining so much ground might not have been so much of an issue. Now in Phase B, the Canadians are actually pretty weak because of their lack of AT options, but coming back into Phase C, the 3rd Canadian definitely kick it up a notch, because they generally have quite a lot of infantry availability still, as well as the mosquitoes on hand and the sextons, which gives them a lot of firepower to put down. So you can see here, even though I'm dealing with like a Panther D and a 232 or 223, I don't have to deal with them because I can just bomb them, and that way it takes the pressure off the rifles. Now a tank did come up here. I did manage to get the rifle leader into range and kill a Panzer IV, which was really nice. Rifles though going to be killed off. This 6 pounder going to be helping with the 251. This 251 sort of probing up onto the top of the hill here. Kind of gave me a little bit more ground on the right side. Like again, I'm well over 50-50 there. But just this left side, unfortunately not going too well. And Cap Cavern, I mean, he's relying quite heavily on these off-map units, and it's not really paying off. He's lacking, obviously, some substance here with the airborne rifles and pathfinders. So now we get it back to the 50-50 briefly, but still 9 minutes until a minor victory for the Axis side of things. I'm pounding this little area here because there is a Panzergrenadier and the Pioneer. So approaching those at the same time with the Stormtroopers. Try and make the Pioneers surrender as well. Now my Firefly has reached the front line, and I do have a Dingo with it to give it the extra veterancy. And that's going to allow this Firefly to be accurate enough to take out quite a lot of armoured vehicles very shortly. But again, still holding my right side quite nicely. Not too much substance to be able to push up with, just enough to defend. Undead Phobos really wasn't putting on the pressure too much, so I was able to concentrate elsewhere and help Black Phoenix get back on his feet. Kangaroos, more kangaroos arriving. These are just ideal for bringing in rifle squads because they really provide decent fire support at close range. Unfortunately, what I don't see here is these Panzergrenadiers quickly enough, and therefore I do lose a unit of rifles to the Panzergrenadiers. I kind of expected them to be in the building, not in these trees, so that really caught me off guard. A bit of a mistake on my part. ME-109 is going to come over the AA there, get shot down by Black Phoenix. My Mosquito is going to be coming in to try and have a go at the Focke-Wulf 190G1 as well as bringing its bombs. But you can see the Focke-Wulf 190 forced to fall back as it fires over quite a significant amount of AA. Also got the priests with the 50 cals just slamming the Focke-Wulf 190, and he does go down. So Bomber's doing quite a lot of work. We are making back a significant amount of ground, but 101st player is collapsing on the left side now instead. So we've got to make back like 600 points in 7 minutes, which, I mean, even at a +1 it would probably just be a draw at this point. So I'm not too I don't think I'm too likely to win at this point, so I just try and go for as much of a push as possible. I've moved up the Firefly. I managed to take out the Panzer IV-H. I used the height there, do a decent amount of damage. The Firefly now also in range of the enemy Vesper, so we're going to take that out. A couple of Panzer IVs here. Fireflies will definitely deal with Panzer IVs nicely. But there goes a mortar carrier, I believe. Another Vesper comes into line of sight. That's going to be hit as well. Look at that. Vesper goes down. We also have Black Phoenix's Firefly doing work onto the mobile wagon. Really doing well. Slamming all of these units. And look how little units Gallo-Neal has. I think at this point he'd possibly ran out of availability. And I'm just sitting here allowing my Firefly to kill off these units, because I know that if I do kill off all of these units, we're going to gain so much ground. And this was sort of the chance that we had in this game. I could have very much broken through because of this. If we'd managed to get all of these units killed quick enough, the breakthrough would have been insane. And we would have been able to push for a +2 that might have actually won us the game. Because as you can see, we're currently at 52% with the +1. And that's counting us up to a draw. So with a +2 picked up at this point, we would have been in an even better position. And both of the Panzer IVs are going to go down there to my Firefly. And we're also going to be taking out this half track. And you can see the front line just move dramatically forwards, as do the rest of my units, because I'm trying to take as much advantage of this as possible. But unfortunately, left side of course still collapsing, and my right side is being pressured quite heavily by Undead Phobos now. He's decided to wake up and start to advance on my position. Now it is honestly quite hard to attack this town area, but that's exactly why I didn't leave many units there, because I knew that it would take him ages to break through. But yeah, I managed to do the job here. Look at all of those burning wrecks. It's just insane. We've got a Vesper, like I said, the mortar carrier, Panzer IVs on the hill, and all because of this Firefly. The Firefly is pushing forwards at the moment with the help of the Dingo, but Galanil has brought up some extra Panzer Grenadiers now to hold the line, which will require me to break through with rifles more than anything. I've put down an attack beacon, not for anything specifically, but just to kind of tell Black Phoenix to push forwards with me, as I am going to commit quite a few units of infantry over here. What I didn't realise was that these infantry units are going to move directly in the path of both this 231 and the Befell Panther. An attempt at killing the Panther with a Wolverine or Achilles at close range didn't work out too well. And one of my rifles, two of my rifles, I think going to be forced to drop off there. Did manage to get the bombs onto the Panther there, which allowed 2 squads to get through at least. Got my Firefly poking out. That's going to get transmission damage as it does bump into the Jagdpanzer there. Jagdpanzer going to be finishing off with my Firefly with the second shot. So losing that Firefly does kind of cripple me quite a lot with that push. That was quite unfortunate. But Mosquito there coming in with the strafing runs. Loads of planes arriving, so just going to get the hell out of there. Try and rely on these 50 cals to stun up the aircraft. Now the other thing we're going to see is 4 bring in these Ju-87s. And I thought I was pretty safe since I had been sort of moving up the Tripolstons with the push as well. I did manage to make the Ju-87s fall back before they could do any more damage, but they've already kind of done the majority of the damage here since they took out the Priest. They also took out this unit here as well, the Dingo, which was giving me some extra command. And that's going to stop me taking out any infantry, but tanks I guess are the main issue at the moment. A third Ju-87 coming in to do more damage. And with me losing all of those units, where you can see my push absolutely collapsed. We're back to the 50-50, and since we're no longer at a +1, our opponents are going to win in 1 minute and 45 seconds. It was so damn close throughout this game, and again, after I watched the replay towards the end, I was just kicking myself that I could have pushed this salient so quickly. My sniper scouts finally go down there. My Mosquito goes down to the Focke-Wulf 190. Things falling apart as I have just completely overextended to try and find that +2 towards the end of the game. And yeah, I overextended, I got punished for it. Just generally what happens in that situation. So I tried my best. Unfortunately, yeah, missed the opportunity early on that might have definitely turned around the game quite a lot. At least guaranteed the draw, if not a victory. Black Phoenix advancing here with his Achilles into the sight of the Befell Panther. Takes his time to get on target, loses the Achilles because of it. And that's pretty much it. That's your lot. Sexton's still firing away at this point in the game. Tripolston does go down to the enemy units there, as I did move it quite far forwards. Only 30 seconds left on the clock. I've continued to hold just over 50-50 here, like I was planning to on the right side for the majority of the game. And well, we finally managed to push through in this mid area, but on the left side, well, things don't look very fun for this 101st Infantry. I'm not quite sure what did that damage there. Look, we have some Nebelwerfer 42s and 2 Nebelwerfer 41s. And with a decent tank on this side, you could definitely take out these Stugvors quite easily. But that's going to be it. Minor defeat for this one. 40 minutes. It was a pretty epic game, honestly, with quite nice back and forth, and really kept me on the edge of my seat whilst I was playing. And hopefully it did for you guys too, because I'm pretty sure you guys didn't expect that to be a loss, especially after the decent start where we were sitting at 52% for quite a while. But yeah, I think it was just my unfortunate miscalculation, I guess, with pushing the salient, just not doing that early on. I could just spread like a bunch of rifle squads through it, and that would have made us quite a lot of ground, but I didn't, and therefore Gal was able to focus quite hard onto Black Phoenix and really punish him. I think if I'd been pressured more by Undead Phobos, I probably would have collapsed. But as you can see, I did a lot of work throughout the game. 4,035 kills to 2,405 losses. In terms of territory, I could have done better, but I don't think I could have done too much better in terms of kills. That was as good as it gets, really, for a game of that nature. 4 did a fantastic job. 4,311 kills to 1,490 losses. Gal actually went negative with 3,875 losses, but yeah, my team didn't particularly do too well with their divisions. But either way, yeah, it was a really fun game. Unfortunately, I had it, I think, on the neutral perspective at the end, so I can't show you the kills and losses for this one. But overall, quite fun, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.